We all know what it is. How many of us have gone to a school where we were taught about sex education? Okay, that's a lot of us. Well, I personally went to a school that did and did not. My name is Genesis, and I'm going to try to persuade you guys why I believe we should not teach about sex education in schools. First of all, I believe that sex education is going to be taken away from real subjects. For example, science, reading, math, right? We all need math in life. We all use it on a daily basis. Reading, we all need it on a daily basis. Science. These are all so important, so why would we waste our time learning about something that is so, yes, we all need it, well, not need it, but a lot of us want it, I guess, and it's something that, it's a big topic that everyone talks about, but in reality, we all use math without realizing it, we all use reading without realizing it, and science without realizing it. These subjects and every other subject, for example, there's many, like cooking, for example, that one is so much more important, in my opinion, than sex education. Sure, some people might say, well, why not need sex education because it can teach us about protection. Well, I'm sure you can learn that somewhere else, maybe at home. But for example, if we were to spend more time on another subject like cooking, maybe, when we were left alone at our house or something, when our parents went on a date or something, instead of waiting for them to come back with food, why can't you cook for yourself? Why can't you cook for your parents maybe? Anything, just, something that's a real class, and personally I don't believe that sex education would be a real class. Another thing is, I think it's very awkward for students to talk about it with their teachers, mostly because teachers are seen sort of as a second parent. Students spend so much time with their teachers. Some students even see teachers more than their own parents. So let's let the teachers do what they do, teach about, whatever subject they want to teach, and let's teach sex education at home. So on this slide you can see, the mom talking to the daughter about it and the father talking to the son. You see that they're very close, and so they're, it's comfortable. But here, obviously someone that you look to, I guess, someone who's teaching you something like, okay, today let's learn about this. Maybe after learning about it, maybe after them talking to us about, oh, well, sex, so this is what happens, this is how you do it, this is how everything goes. It's going to be awkward, and you might not look at them the same way that you used to before. Someone that you look up to, for example, for me, it was very awkward when my teacher would go from teaching about sex to teaching about Shakespeare. Then I'm like, oh, I just can't really take you seriously because it's just not the same. I believe that we should be focused on other things. Another thing is that if sex education is taught at home, obviously there's no awkwardness. Another thing could also be the parent-child connection. I think parents and children will have a deeper connection. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking, well, what if some kids don't want to talk about it with their parents? Well, why do you think they want to talk about it with their teachers? It doesn't really make any sense. Also, if you talk about it with your parents, I feel like you would listen more, just because, we're all in class, right, and the teacher's talking, and you're just like, oh, yeah. It goes in through one ear, goes out through the other. It's just, when your parent is talking to you, they can talk to you in a way that your teachers can't, and if you're not listening, then I think they get that feeling, like they're like, oh, they're not listening. So they're like, hey, come on, listen to me, like this is something important. So it can prevent stuff like, transmitted diseases or teen pregnancies, because your parents, they can say a lot of things that your teachers can't, or it might be really awkward for your teachers to do that. So I believe that we should all sign a petition to ban sex education for many reasons. Looking at the other side, where people are saying, well, what if some children don't have that privilege of learning this at home? Well, you're right, but at the same time, sex is just something that comes naturally. It's not something that really has to be taught, I guess. And if someone does need to be taught about it, then I'm sure they'll find a way. Another thing is that, for example, in high school, if someone wants to have sex, they'll find a way to do it. They'll just do it. They'll find a way. It's not going to make a difference whether you teach it or not. It's going to happen if they want it to happen. So in conclusion, I think that we should all sign the petition because, one, I don't believe it's necessary. I really do not think it's necessary for it to be teaching it at school. It might be awkward and it might take time away from learning real subjects. Also, why would we want to waste, tax money on something that can be easily saved up and used for something else, because you can easily just teach it at the comfort of each student. In conclusion, sex education should not be taught in schools, and I believe it should be banned, and it should be taught at home in the comfort of each student. Yeah. You see, that's schools, is sex education free.